All right. Let's say further, it's Epistemology 101, kids. We're back, yes, we're going back to the subject of epistemology. Oh boy, yay. Yeah, I know you like this one. Now, let's say you were a scientist. Oh, I love science. I'm an atheist. I love science. I love it. I know you do. Calm down, atheist. But I love science so much. I love it. I know you do, atheist. Calm down. Okay. Yeah, that's how most of the atheists feel about science. Let's just be perfectly honest. That's how they feel about it. It's good that they're so excited about it. So, you were a scientist. The problem is most of you are bad at it. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Sorry, I had to burst your bubble. Now, let's say you were a scientist, Mr. Atheist, and you were charged with trying to ascertain there are people all over the world, and you were charged with trying to ascertain whether people who have claimed to have interacted with supernatural beings, whether any of those claims are valid. Remember, any of those claims are valid. See, one of the first mistakes that atheists make when they're dealing with the subject of religion and religious phenomena. This is a really complex and vast umbrella of experiences, is it not? Yes, it is. And under this vast and complex umbrella of experiences are a whole wide variety of different claims occurring. And not each claim is equally credible, nor is each claim created equal. The claims range all the way from the wildly implausible, which the ones that atheists love. Snakes are flying out of his rear end. He's going to heal everybody with the snakes that fly out of his rear end. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, he's crazy. I told you he's crazy. That's the ones that the atheists love. To the only mildly implausible. So, there are people under this vast umbrella of religious phenomena. And in that vast umbrella, there are people, for example, who have claimed, let's just deal with this small claim. If you were a scientist charged with handling religious phenomena in general, you would isolate specific phenomena and try and limit your scope, put certain types of experiences under a microscope, and try and establish a methodology of fact-finding. So, let's just deal with some religious people have claimed to have interacted with supernatural beings. Now, that's a much smaller claim than God exists or Jesus rose from the dead. And that claim runs a gamut. There's people in almost every faith tradition who would lay claim to having experience with supernatural beings. Now, you're a scientist, and I'm charging you with trying to verify whether that's in fact true. And remember, if it's true in one case, then it's true. So the first thing you would do as a scientist is try and establish a methodology. And you would try to establish a methodology. Now, the first thing you notice, if you were trying to verify whether people had interacted with supernatural beings, is that street epistemology would be effectively useless. Why is that, Craig? Because you are only dealing with one person at one time. Basically, it's an anecdote. And what any single person, there's nothing that could be derived conclusively from what any one person, and it's a random sample. Hey, you want to come talk to me? Yes, I do. Okay, what any one person believes or does not believe about their own individual experience is totally irrelevant. It's totally irrelevant. That's not how you would go about establishing a database and a methodology of trying to ascertain if any of the experiences are true. You wouldn't bother with any single person at all. Why? It'd be totally inconclusive. Waste of time, basically. Like I said, street epistemology is perfectly good if you are just trying to, learn a little something about the mechanics of belief or what people believe or why they believe it. Then it's perfectly valid. It's absolutely useless if you are trying to establish the truth claim underneath it all. If you were scientists trying to find out if supernatural experiences occurred, you wouldn't bother at all. Why? Because what any one person believes or doesn't believe, totally irrelevant to the phenomena. Totally irrelevant to the phenomena. Period. and, street epistemologists try to walk them off their belief, fine. You walk that person off their belief. Doesn't prove anything. Totally inconclusive, irrelevant. So what would you do? Okay, let's take a claimant. Let's say, for example, Stephanie. Stephanie has, somewhere in her series of videos and her blog posts, made some type of claims. Remember, not every religious person, even not every Christian, has claimed to have experiences with supernatural beings. That's a pretty rarefied type of a claim. We're isolating one specific example of religious phenomena and trying to see if we can verify its reality. That's it. That's all we're doing. That's what a scientist would do. Now, you're an atheist. You go, I don't even need to do that, Craig. Why? Because I know that those things don't happen. See the mistake you already made? You've decided ahead of time that those claims can't be true, case closed. No scientist worth his salt would ever do that. They would investigate the claim, and they would investigate the claim honestly and correctly. And they would isolate the specific phenomena so that they could focus simply on that. So they would take someone like Stephanie. Now, Stephanie has somewhere in her blog post or in her videos laid claim to the fact that she might have interacted with some form of supernatural. She believes she interacted with some type of supernatural beings. I forget exactly how many times she said or what the details were. Oh, that's easy, Craig. I can debunk, dismiss, discredit that easily. See what you did? You see the mistake you made, atheist? Yeah. Foaming at the mouth, ready to jump the gun. Debunk, dismiss, discredit. Do you see the mistake you already made? And I promise you there's atheists listening to this who already did that. Who were doing that. Falling all over themselves to try to debunk, dismiss, discredit Stephanie quick. Here's the problem. In the plausibility factor of Stephanie's experience. But no, Craig, you don't understand. I can easily debunk, dismiss, discredit. She had these experiences when she was falling asleep or when she was waking up, and it could very easily been a sleep, I forget what you call it, a sleep apparition or something like that. There's some type of natural phenomena wherein when you fall asleep, you sometimes perceive things that aren't necessarily there. Okay, so Stephanie would fall in the mid-range of plausibility. Her specific claims of supernatural experiences would be in the mid-range of not quite wildly implausible, but maybe not as believable as some of the others. For example, she'd be more plausible than Buford from Montana. I know that I interacted with demons. I know this for sure. I wouldn't have believed it if it hadn't happened to me for real. They're down in my basement for 3 days, and they was making sexual intercourses with me for 3 straight days. And they were doing all sorts of wild sexual things to me. And I wouldn't have believed it neither if it hadn't happened to me in my own home, right under my very nose with my own eyes. And I hadn't seen it with my own eyes and smelled it with my very nose. The wildly implausible. Okay, Buford's not that plausible, right? Stephanie's more plausible than Buford. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, a little bit. But she's more plausible than Buford. But if I were a scientist trying to isolate the phenomenon, guess what? I'd throw out Stephanie's experience, I'd throw out Buford's experience. Sorry, Stephanie, you wouldn't be in the study. Why? It's not strong enough. Remember, we're trying to build an evidentiary case for the reality of spiritual phenomena. So what would we do? Now, for example, there's a polytheist. I had a polytheist on my channel. And he has laid claim to some of the similar ideas as Stephanie. Not necessarily the same story, but the same type of idea. He claims that he has interacted with beings that have some form of agency that exists outside of him. Now remember, that's all we're trying to establish. Does the perceiving agent is claiming that they have interacted with a being that was non-material, that had some form of agency outside of them. In other words, it wasn't just their brain making it up, making that being appear. Some form of an apparition that wasn't coming from their brain. It had agency outside of the perceiving agent. That's all we're trying to establish. Did that ever occur? Any time on planet Earth, ever. If it happened once, it's possible. If it happened once, it's possible. If it happened 5, 10, 15 times, well then, those type of apparitions actually exist. The only thing I'm trying to point out is the methodology by which we could ascertain that if we were doing it in a scientific fashion. That's all I'm trying to do. So we would move from Stephanie. We probably wouldn't use her. An actual scientist trying to establish would probably throw out 80% of the claimants. That's why street epistemology is useless. They throw out 80%. Easily. 90 maybe. Maybe 95. You would only limit yourself to the strongest possible claimants. That's it. Buford you wouldn't even bother with. You knock on the door and go, Buford, we're doing a study. You claim to have interacted with supernatural. Yeah, like I said, there were 6 demons in my basement. They held me down for 4 days, and they did all sorts of sexual things to me. I can't even tell you. Okay, Buford, never mind. Never mind, Buford. I really want to be in your study, mister. I really do. Okay, never mind, Buford. Never mind, Buford. Whatever. And you'd walk away. He wouldn't be in the study. Neither would Stephanie. Sorry, Stephanie, you wouldn't be in the study. Why? It's not a strong enough claim. So you'd move to the polytheist. Now, this is something that you, the atheist, could be doing right now, today, in real time, and you haven't done it. Hello? Right now, in real time, today, and you haven't done it. There are people on Twitter who are polytheists. And I don't know this for a fact, but I had a polytheist on my channel, and he lays claim to some of the same supernatural experiences that Stephanie does. Different types, but same idea. So I'm guessing someone like Ocean. I don't know this for a fact. I've never interviewed Ocean. I've never seen him tweet about it. I'm just guessing because he's a polytheist. And some of his friends who are polytheists probably have a lot stronger claims. They probably have claims that if you listen to them tell the story to you directly, it'd be pretty hard to shake off. That's my point. I don't know this for a fact. I've never asked Ocean. It's just a guess. Why? I wouldn't be a polytheist otherwise. Probably. I think they all believe that there are forces or beings, forces maybe not specific beings, but supernatural forces that interact freely with the real world, that are in the unknown, immaterial, invisible world. They interact with the known, invisible world. Pretty sure that most polytheists would believe that, and I'm pretty sure most polytheists would claim that they have interacted with them directly. So you go to Ocean and you ask him. And if his claim were easy to shrug off. See, Stephanie's claim you say is pretty easy to shrug off. Easy, Craig, it's easy to shrug off. That's not the point. If you're trying to ascertain if something, if you're trying to actually verify if some of these claims are real, you wouldn't bother with the ones that are easy to shrug off. You go to the strongest possible claims, and you limit yourself to only them. And none of you, I doubt, have done that. Why? Because those claims exist. Those claims are on YouTube. There are people on YouTube. There are people all over the place. So you wouldn't even go to Ocean necessarily. You go, Ocean, who schooled you? And you go to like the Grand Master of his particular sect. Or the books in his particular sect where people are making these claims, in a much more methodological way. Maybe some YouTube videos. I don't know. But my guess is there are probably some ones, and there are probably ones that if you watch, they'd be hard to shake off. See my point? There are probably videos out there. I haven't bothered. Why? Because I don't need to. Like I said, I am pretty well convinced of the reality of what I experience on a daily basis. Now, I'm not laying any claims to supernatural beings. I've told you my claim, and I've told you it directly. I disappear into my prayer closet. I go there for about an hour. I have a powerful, subjective, internal experience, 100% real to me. And I honestly believe that that is the Holy Spirit of God. Honestly believe it with all my heart. That's my claim. So I don't need to investigate the claims of different polytheists or people like that. I'm just telling you, the atheist, if you were actually being legitimately skeptical in a way that was truth-oriented, instead of, let me try to route it back to no, let me try to reaffirm what I already know isn't possible, you would have already tried to start investigating the claims, and you would have stuck to the most plausible ones, not the least plausible ones. The least plausible ones are irrelevant. That's why street epistemology isn't necessarily a valuable tool for understanding religious phenomena at all. Why? First of all, it's an individual person, like I said. Any one person's belief or lack of belief is totally irrelevant to whether the phenomena is in fact happening. Totally irrelevant. If you wanted to find out if the phenomena is in fact happening, you would go to the strongest possible claim, the top 5% of the strongest claims, and you'd investigate those fully. That would be the sole area of investigation. So you wouldn't even bother with Stephanie. So you debunk, dismiss, discredit Stephanie. Fine. Maybe Stephanie was falling asleep and maybe she had a couple too many that night. Who knows? That's not relevant to whether the phenomena actually occurs anywhere at all. That's what we're trying to ascertain. That's what a scientist would be trying to ascertain. And if you went from Ocean's more plausible stories to the person who turned Ocean into a polytheist, probably has really plausible ones. If you talk to the guy directly, he'd probably tell you stories that'd be hard to shake off. Promise. Promise. I could still shake them off, Craig. I could still debunk this. I promise. Yeah, you probably could. But you'd recognize your own mental gymnastics in trying to categorize this in a way that clearly rules out the possibilities that you have already ruled out. Yeah, that was a mouthful and that was expressed really weird. It would challenge your cosmology as it presently stands, would it not? Would it not? If you saw a genuine miracle in front of your face, a genuine miracle, and you were relatively certain that it was a miracle, I'm not saying you're going to turn into a Jesus freak like myself. I don't expect you to. The only thing I say, if you do, give me the tithes. That's the only thing I want is the tithes. That's the only thing it's about is the tithes. Give me the tithes. Hallelujah to the Lamb of God. Give me those tithes, kids. No, I don't think you're going to turn into a Jesus acolyte, a disciple of the living God like myself. I doubt that. The only thing I'm trying to say is it would be relatively easy for you to upend your cosmology as it currently stands. Really easy. Find a really convincing claim. They are out there of a supernatural experience. They exist. Those claims exist. The weaker claims, the less plausible claims, those are totally irrelevant to whether the phenomena is actually occurring. They are. They're totally irrelevant. And that's where most atheists spend most of their time. Why? Because their sole agenda: debunk, dismiss, discredit, discount, disqualify, diss it, quick, diss it. Craig's talking again, diss him quick. And if you were actually trying to verify the validity, you would stick only to the strongest possible claims. That's the only place you go. I did the same thing. You don't think I did, but I did, I promise. When I started looking at atheists on Twitter and atheists on YouTube, I don't bother with the nobody atheists. I really don't. I went right to the people I thought were the smartest atheists out there. Went right to Matt Dillahunty, watched almost all of his videos, watched a lot of Scott Clifton's videos. I went to the best guys in the fight, the biggest guns, and tried to see if they had something worth hearing. So, I got a lot more to say on the subject, but I got a lot more to say, so it doesn't really matter because I'm going to be saying, I make a lot of these type of videos. I really do. So, that's all for now, kids. I'll get back into it in a different video. And that is all for now. The Mass is ended. Go in peace. Amen.